A very warm welcome in the class of numerical methods. Under numerical methods, we are in the module of numerical integration. And in numerical integration, today our topic of discussion is Simpson's one-third rule. Now, already you have gone through the lecture of numerical integration, a comparative study, its requirements, as well as the very first method what we have already discussed in the last lecture, that is trapezoidal rule. So today we are going to discuss Simpson's one-third rule. So obviously we have this point in our mind that why we are going to learn this particular method, what are the basic differences of Simpson's one-third rule in comparison with trapezoidal rule, and obviously the associated informations like the working rule, where we are going to apply, how to apply it. So without any further delay, let us go into the discussion of Simpson's one-third rule. Like the previous method of trapezoidal rule, here also we can start with the concept of the working rule first. So here our target is same, a to b fx dx, and we are going to write the working rule over here. But before writing the working rule over here, I just want to emphasize on one segment of trapezoidal. What is that? So if we have to integrate from x equal to a to x equal to b, in trapezoidal rule we can integrate it directly, we can integrate it by breaking into two subintervals, or we can integrate it by breaking into three subintervals, and so on. Because our trapezoidal rule is having the formula h by 2 y0 plus y1, and if I want to use the concept of composite trapezoidal rule, then y0 plus y1, then y1 plus y2, then y2 plus y3. So we are getting as the composition as y0 plus yn plus 2 into y1 plus the remaining terms along with h by 2. But if we are having the restriction in discussion of this distribution, this interval, that either we have allowed to distribute it into two subintervals, or we are allowed to distribute it into four subintervals, or we are allowed it to distribute into six subintervals, means I am emphasizing that the number of subintervals are going to be even, where there was no such restriction of this particular distribution that it is going to be even or odd. There is no such restriction on trapezoidal rule. That means here the formula for Simpson's one-third rule, or working formula of Simpson's one-third rule, we are getting it as, suppose I am not writing it explicitly, I will write it after some time, that it always takes into consideration y0, y1 and y2, or afterwards you can think about y2, y3 and y4 in this way. So if you think about only one such case, that is number of subintervals are 2, then you are having 3 values, and when you are thinking about number of subintervals are 4, then you are having 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, that means 5 values. So you are getting these types of concepts, that if you are having n plus 1 number of points, then you are going to have n number of subintervals, and where n is an even number. So keeping this discussion in our mind, we are having the formula as h by 3 y0 plus yn plus 4 into y1 plus y3 plus dot dot plus 2 into y2 plus y4 plus dot dot dot. So this is our working formula or working rule for Simpson's 1/3 rule, and to be specific we will see it like in the trapezoidal rule. This is actually our composite Simpson's 1/3 rule. Basically, if we have a curve like this and we are having this concept like it is my x0, x1, x2, and accordingly it is y0, y1, y2. So what we get as h by 3 y0 plus y2 plus 4y1. Okay, so now instead of this, if we are having this distribution x0, x1, x2, x3, x4, that means here we are having two sub intervals. Here we are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 sub intervals. Then the integration can be done from x0 to x4. It can be distributed as x0 to x2 plus x2 to x4. And for the first part, the formula is h by 3 y0 plus 4y1 plus y2 plus h by 3 y2 plus 4y3 plus y4, and if we combine it we will get h by 3 y0 plus 4 y1 plus y3 plus 2 y2 plus y4, and if you compare it with our general formula for composite Simpson's 1/3 rule, we can see that h by 3 y0 plus yn, that is n is the number of subintervals, plus 4 into odd positional functional values plus 2 into even positional functional values. So now we will implement this formula for some specific problems, but before going into that I want to emphasize one thing. Though we are indicating it also by h and we are also indicating it by h, but the values of h are different in these two cases because it depends on the number of subintervals. Though my b and a are fixed, as the number of subinterval varies in these two cases, the value of h will also be different. Now we are going to take one problem. Suppose we are taking the problem 0 to 3 x square dx, and we are thinking about n is equal to suppose 4. So to make the calculation simpler, I can convert it into 0 to 4 and n is equal to 4. So h will be b minus a by n. So we will get it by 4 minus 0 by 4. So it is 1, and after that we need to generate the table. And here we can write it as x and y, and then my values will be 0, then 1, then 2, then 3 and 4. Accordingly it will be 0, 1, 4, 9 and 16. So the formula gives us this clue that it will be 1 by 3, then y0 plus yn plus 4 into y1, that is 1, and you can see that it is my y0, it is y1, y2, y3 and y4. So I have already taken 0 and 4, then 1 and 3, that is 1 plus 9, plus 2 into y2, that is 4. So after calculation what we get is like this: 16 plus 9 plus 1, 10 into 4, 40 plus 8. So we get it as 1 by 3, 48 plus 16, 64. So this is my answer as per Simpson's one-third rule of this problem. Now according to the last lecture, you know that we will just try to find out the result of this integration, if possible, in our classical method, to get some confidence on this Simpson's one-third rule, that whether we are able to use this problem in this segment or not. So it will be x cube by 3, 0 to 4, and we will get it as 64 by 3, where we are getting that there is no error in this. So up to this discussion sometimes leads to a wrong concept, that if we use Simpson's one-third rule it will be like exact one, but this is wrong. This method is not giving you any error in the function called fx is equal to x square, but this calculation merely never gives you this result, that it will not going to be giving any error for any of the functions. So here our target is to make the problem into this direction, that first of all you just make the calculation of x cube dx and find out the result of this integration in the exact form as well as in Simpson's one-third rule. And if you get the error over here, then check it and think about yourself, that if you increase the number of sub intervals, then whether the error is going to be minimized or not, whether the error is going to be minimized or not, it is one question or one problem what you have to think about it. And also just for the comparative study, you can do it also for the function x dx, suppose 0 to 4, and check whether the result is having with error or no error. So you can distribute the discussion of Simpson's one-third rule in this manner, that first of all you have to know the working rule, and then for your concept building you must think about that for which functions, which type of functions this method is giving you no error, and in which types of functions this method will giving you error, but the error will be minimized if the number of subintervals are increasing. Now before concluding this problem, just or this method, I just want to show you one more problem for our practice purpose. Just one thing is going to be changed over here, that is up to the last problems we are giving you the number of sub intervals, but here it is given that taking h is equal to 1 by 4. So as you know that h is equal to b minus a by n, so we can think about n is equal to b minus a by h. It is important because 1 minus 0 by 1 by 4, that is equal to 4, which gives you the confidence that it is an even number, and you can proceed for the problem using Simpson's one-third rule which is not required to check in case of trapezoidal rule. So if I give you the age, instead of giving you the number of subintervals, if you start doing the problem, you can see that you will not be able to complete the problem, because sometimes the age is in such a manner that it is not going to create the even number of subintervals. So that type of problems are actually given to confuse you, that whether you are having this prior checking criterion, that whether n is even or not. So after getting this verification is done, then our job is to generate the table, because already age is given to us and we have verified that the number of subintervals it generates is even. So it will start from 0, then obviously 1 by 4, because we are adding age sequentially, then 1 by 2, then 3 by 4, and then obviously it will be 1. And the functional values, if you put 0 it will be 1, if you put 1 by 4, that is 1 by 16 plus 1, that is 17 by 16. So it is going to be in reciprocal manner 16 by 17. In this way it will be 0.8, it will be 0.64, and it will be 0.5. After getting this table complete, we can write in this manner that integration 0 to 1 by 1 plus x square dx is equal to h by 3 y0 plus y4, because it is 0 1 2 3 4, then plus 4 into y1 plus y3 plus 2y2. If you need, you can identify or denote these functional values like you have made it in the trapezoidal rule. So just merely some calculation is now left, so we can do it by and finally if you calculate it, you will get 0.7853921156, and according to the question, if it is asked that perform it up to 4 decimal places or 5 decimal places, you have to provide the final answer accordingly. So this is the whole thing about Simpson's 1/3 rule as the preliminary delivery before coming into the class. So hope you understand this particular problem and its methods. And finally I want to say that you can use these references. These are very important references and lucidly discussed in those books and learning materials. And finally I want to give you this assignment. Please solve these problems according to the instruction. So thank you all. Happy listening, happy learning.